Gentlemen, today we are going to talk about why you are not getting dates, and let's do a deep dive on everything related to that. So, if you've been in the modern dating market for any amount of time and you're frustrated as to why you're not getting more dates, you're not getting messages, women don't seem to be responding to your profile or anything like that, there's undoubtedly several different areas that pertain to this that we should talk about so that you can know what to fix and know exactly what you should be looking for and fixing it as soon as you possibly can. So the first thing is, if you're not getting messages and dates or matches or anything like that, the first thing is almost always your pictures. So men have some of the worst dating profile pictures that I've ever seen. I have seen these on different articles across the internet. I've seen them from female friends sharing them with me. I've seen all different kinds of stuff, and I hate to say it, but most men don't know the first thing about setting up really good pictures for their dating profile. They tend to take selfies where they're like holding the phone down here, and so you end up seeing something that looks like that. Or they are taking pictures and they have no idea how to make things look good with balance and lighting and stuff like that. Or they might be posting a picture that is inappropriate, like they might be posting something where their shirt is off and they're posting like a gym selfie or a mirror bathroom selfie, something like that. I've also seen a lot of pictures where it's blurry, it's really grainy, like you can't tell what the person really even looks like because the visual quality of the image is so low. A lot of men also post group photos. Women make this mistake frequently as well, where they'll post like a big family photo or a friend of picture of all their friends hanging out at some event. And unless you put like an arrow to your face to show like this is who I am and this is the person that you're talking with if you're looking at this photo, then there's no way to possibly know like who that person is. So, but men make that mistake frequently. Another thing that I've seen men do is they will have a picture that's like from many, many years ago. So maybe it was like their high school prom or like a bachelor party or something like that, or some other event, right? From like many years ago, sometimes even decades ago, which is crazy. That kind of stuff is useless because women want to see what you look like now, and you shouldn't be hiding behind photos that were taken many, many years ago. If there was a picture of you and you liked how it looked, you could say, this is a picture of me from like 10 years ago when I was in high school or college or something like that. But you should never be using that to represent who you are today. The reason for that is because first you should be willing to show who you are, and you should be willing to like own up to the fact that you look the way that you look currently, whether you have the level of fitness that you want or you don't. You have to be able to represent yourself accurately. So that's the first thing. Um, but yeah, I guess with that first thing, let's get into the details here. So um, there are all kinds of things that you have to portray and not portray in order to be successful as a man on dating apps. Only about 4% of men actually get swiped right or matched with on dating apps these days. So the odds are very, very low. It's less than 1 in 10. It's basically like, it's pretty much like 1 in 20, right? So the first thing that you have to do to change your dating profile photos is you have to have all photos within the last 2 to 3 years. I would say like last 1 to 2 years to be fair, but you might not have something that's that recent. You should have photos that have been taken within like the last year, the last few months. But if you don't have anything that's like within the last 12 months, you should definitely have something that was taken within the last 24 to 36 months. So anything that you put on, like, anything that you've put on the dating app profiles that you have, if it's not that recent, it should be removed unless your appearance has not changed over the last X number of years, right? If you pretty much look the same today that you looked 8 years ago, then you should totally be fine. The second thing is all of your profile photos have to be high resolution. This might sound like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised, like I've said before, of how many photos are out there that are just super grainy, and people look terrible in these photos, right? Like, you cannot bank on the fact that someone is going to take you seriously with a super choppy, grainy, terrible looking photo. If it doesn't look good to you, it's not going to look good to anyone else. You should be proud to see yourself in this photo, not in like a grandiose, self-entitled way, but you should be happy with how you look. You shouldn't be hoping that a woman will like you for your personality. I'll probably do a different video on that another time. But you have to be sharing photos that look really impressive. They should also highlight your face, and not, you should have a few photos like I talk about in my book, Your Dating Life Solved, where everything is like, you have one or two photos of like a full body photo. One of those can be an outdoors photo. The other one can be like a formal wear photo or something like that. But most of the pictures should highlight your face. It should be easy to discern who you are. It should be easy to see your facial features. They should be beautiful, high resolution photos. So if you don't have those, you have to either pay someone to take photos of you, and it's pretty inexpensive to do that these days. You can have like $100 to $200 and spend it on a good photographer, and they'll have you covered. Or you need to take these photos yourself. You can, right now I'm filming on a tripod. You can set up a tripod if you have one. Those things are like $30 or less, and just take some good photos, crop them, and you're good to go. But it's well worth getting extra photos of yourself taken if you have not done that before, because you have to look good and you have to look natural. If you're just taking pictures of yourself, you have to know what the picture is going to look like and kind of how to present it in order to get really good results. It has to look like you are enjoying the moment and that you're being yourself and being present, and not just taking the photos for the sake of taking them, or like there's this artificial look on your face. You'll know it when you see it. The next thing that you have to do, which I think is the third thing, is you have to have photos that convey who you are naturally. You should not be conveying who you are in some way that's like not you. If you're an extrovert, you shouldn't be conveying that you're a bookworm and that you enjoy spending time at home a lot. If you're an introvert and you like spending time at home a lot, you should not be conveying that you're a party animal. You should be conveying something about yourself that is consistent with who you are in real life. The best way to do this is basically to take photos from your real life and share them on your dating profile. You should be able to have pictures from concerts, pictures that friends have taken, pictures of you that your friends have taken. You should be able to have a lot of different types of photos that convey who you are. In my book, Your Dating Life Solved, The Authentic Man's Ultimate Guide to Lasting Love, I talk about the 6 must-have photos. There's the high-res cropped facial photo. That should be your best one, and the first one as well. You should have a full body, like formal wear photo. Women like to see a man who knows how to dress up and looks good in formal wear. 3, you need to have like a social life photo, something to show that you're not a complete loner and that you spend 24/7 alone, because most women are looking for someone who could lead a family one day or who enjoys spending time with friends and family. She should not have to drag you out of a perpetual hole of extreme introversion, or social anxiety. That's a different problem for a different time to be addressed in a different way. And there's 3 more, and I'm trying to remember what they are. But I know that another one is like a full body photo. So ideally, you could combine the formal photo with the full body photo, but you should have an appropriate full body photo to show like, this is who I am. This is my physique. Whether that's, whether you're proud of it or whether it's just the reality, like you do have to show like your full body. But yeah, you can check out my book, Your Dating Life Solved, to learn more about all those other photos that I recommend you have. And you have to have all those because they are backed by science. You should be using all of these because it conveys a complete sense of like everything that you are. I think one of the other photos is a picture of you not smiling, because science actually shows that when men don't smile, it's actually more attractive. And the opposite is true of women. So when women smile, it's actually more attractive than when they don't. But back to the main stuff. So we've covered, you have to have really good photos. You have to have something that presents your face well. You have to convey who you are naturally. They can't be blurry, so they have to be high resolution. The next thing you need to do is variety. So your photos should not be conveying that you have a monotone type of life. You should be conveying that you have some sense of variety in your life. It doesn't have to be crazy. I mean, there's people who take this to a whole new level, and every single photo shows them in some wild, exotic, amazing location. That's kind of the ideal, and I say that with air quotes because it's not necessarily ideal for someone who's just looking for someone to live their life with and settle down with and potentially start a family, but it is ideal for people who are going crazy in the dating market and trying to just attract a bunch of women or men, whatever they may be. But you do have to have a picture, like at least one that conveys that you're doing something like meaningful and exciting and interesting with your life. If your life looks like you just go to work and you come home and you eat dinner and you go to bed and that's kind of it, like that's not exciting to most people, and especially not to women. Women are looking for a man who like has a zest for life and knows how to enjoy life really well. If all you're doing is just kind of school and work and you don't really hang out with friends or have anything else interesting going in your life, then that can convey that there's almost like a shallowness of like, first of all, she's probably not going to be interested or excited. But second, it conveys that if there is going to be excitement in your life, it's probably going to come only from her, and that you don't have other like social pillars in your life to really convey like who you are and just have a sense of enjoying life. Women are looking for a guy who has fun having fun. That might sound redundant or silly, but it's actually a pretty profound thing because we are very achievement oriented, and if there's nothing to take us away from like all the work that we have to do and all the things that we have to be responsible for, then that's going to fail to create a sense of like newness and excitement and novelty in life. And women in particular enjoy being able to enjoy things. And again, that sounds redundant, but it's really not. Like, you can enjoy something because you achieved it, or you can enjoy something because you're enjoying it. There's a difference between doing and being. Men tend to be doers, women tend to be beers. Not beers, but people who just enjoy being, right? And when you're having fun, you're not necessarily doing anything other than having fun. You're enjoying the moment. And so women are looking for someone who does know how to kick back and does want to have fun and does want to do things that are purely for the sake of having fun and doing them. The other thing that your photos should convey is that you know how to present yourself. And this one is kind of tough for men because we don't necessarily, unless we hear it from our parents or our supervisors or other mentors and people that we look up to in our life, we don't necessarily get compliments as frequently or as openly as women tend to. Women tend to get compliments like every single day just for the sake of being a woman, right? Like most women get hit on every day. Most women get weird comments, weird looks, weird compliments every single day, but they get used to it at the same time. So women are accustomed to feeling like they can just easily get a lot of attention just for being them. For men, you pretty much have to do something. You have to do something notable. You have to be someone notable in order to achieve, the right or the opportunity to have a compliment, right? Or to receive it. When it comes to your pictures, you have to be able to convey that you're a confident person, that you're happy in your own skin. And there's a certain level of this that women can see without you saying a single word. And women are very perceptive when it comes to like things that are not being said. And women are masters of nonverbal indirect communication. That's essentially what I'm getting at. And you can convey who you are and what you think of yourself just by your photos. And if you are conveying that you don't think highly of yourself or that you don't have a sense of confidence and competence in your life, then women can sense that, and they will probably see it in your photos, and they'll pass on you because they'll think like, oh, this guy he's not gunning for it, right? Like he's not excited about his own life. So if he's not excited about his own life, how can I be? And that is really where things come down to the wire. That's where you have to be able to convey who you are in your photos, and you have to have a certain sense of like you're excited about your own life. And that doesn't mean like giddy and jumping out of your shoes and going crazy like a kid. It means that you live with a purpose and that you're excited every single day to wake up and to live your life. That can look like a genuine smile. That can look like having fun at a party or a social gathering. That can look like a successful networking opportunity at some sort of business event. That can look like a lot of different things, right? But think about, if you're having trouble thinking about like what this might look like, you want to think about who is someone who I look up to and why, and what do their photos look like online? Because if their photos convey that sense of like professionalism of like, I am me, I'm proud to be me, I'm proud to be living my life. Again, not in like a prideful, grandiose way, but just I'm glad to be me. I'm living my life because it's the only one that I've got. That is what it's all about at the end of the day, guys. So those are like my top tips for conveying yourself successfully through photos. There's a couple things you should never do as well. You should never have a photo that is like a shirtless photo. There's a lot of reasons that women don't like this. So number one, it conveys that you're full of yourself. Number two, it conveys that you don't know how to take photos and you don't know what's modest versus immodest. Number three, it shows that you might be like a gym rat or someone who hits the gym all the time. And contrary to popular belief, women do not necessarily like a guy who's constantly hitting the gym. They love a guy who's fit and takes care of himself and knows how to work out and understands the lifelong value of that. You shouldn't be a slob or a slouch, but you don't have to be like this crazy gym goer either. And women are looking for a guy who doesn't have to openly convey what he thinks about himself in that way. They want you to be naturally confident and not someone who's just like, oh, look at me, look how tough I am, look how much I can bench, look how many pull-ups I've done, look how many push-ups I've done. That's not what it's about. Another thing you should never do in photos, again, contrary to popular belief, especially with guys, is a lot of guys put up their hunting photos, their fishing photos, things like that. And this is not the type of video for me to get into like why I oppose those things in general. But it's been proven time and time again that women actually really loathe and despise those photos because it's a very out of touch thing for most women. Most women are not into hunting, camping, even if you are. Most women find that stuff either abhorrent and they despise it outright, or they don't mind it, but they're not interested in seeing that on a dating app because they are not looking for you to talk about like your favorite hobby or your favorite passion all the time. If she cares about getting to know you, she will want to get to know that side of you. But it's a very jarring experience for most women, and it's something that most women just don't see the value in. If she is like that type of person, that might be like the one exception where she would kind of geek out over that kind of thing. But 99% of women, 98, 99% of women are going to see a fishing, hunting, or trapping photo, and they are going to completely swipe left and never think about, they're going to get rid of your profile as quickly as they can. Another thing you should not do is, like I said before, group photos. Do not, and I mean do not post any group photo of yourself. If you have a great picture and you can't crop it, or you really want to use it and you don't know how to use it, you have to be willing to not post that, because women, again, are not interested in trying to figure out like who is this guy in the photo, like where is he in the group, like why is he posting this. For most women, it's a very nonsensical thing to do. You're making her work much harder than she needs to work. When it comes to dating profile photos, especially for men, there's a lot of marketing principles that come into play. As a marketer myself, one of the biggest things in marketing is you want to make it, there's this idea of don't make me think. I think there's even a book written with that same title. The idea of that is when you're trying to get someone to take an action, namely swiping right or messaging you or whatever, it's really important to not have anyone have to work harder than they need to. You don't want anyone to have to like really think and consider like here's who this person is, or like I see why they put in this group photo. That is like a total waste of time for everybody, including you. You would not want to have to put in the mental effort of like, who is this woman in this photo? Where is she in this group? It just doesn't make sense. So you wouldn't want that done to you, so don't do it to anyone else. That is pretty much like the best on like how to optimize your photos for getting more matches, more messages, more dates. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how to message women appropriately so that everything that you send out there has a higher chance of being responded to.